During China's two sessions each year, one number draws great global attention. That is the official target for GDP growth each year. This year, Chinese policymakers have set a target of around 5%. That is by no means a small goal, given the enormity of the Chinese economy and the mounting global uncertainties. So what does that target convey about the state of the Chinese economy? How does China plan to achieve that? To answer those questions, we're going to interview Professor Tian Xuan, a deputy to the National People's Congress and the president of the National Institute of Financial Research at Tsinghua University. To check out our interview, welcome to another edition of Decoding China. Thank you again, Professor Tian, for taking the time from a very busy schedule from the two sessions to talk with us.
No problem.
First and foremost, I want to ask your impressions of the two sessions this year. What's the biggest takeaway? What are some highlights?
As an economist, I'm certainly very, I take more attention to the economic numbers. As most people expected, the GDP growth target is set to around 5%, which is, a little bit, it certainly is challenging. It's not an easy job, but I think it's, this number, this target is gettable as long as we work harder.
What does that mean in terms of where China's economy at the current stage? On a global comparison, where does that stand? Can you give us a little bit more details about 5% mean?
If you sort of pay attention to China's economic growth, it appears our target hasn't changed. However, I think it has different interpretations or different meanings. In the last year, the GDP total volume was 3,400.9 trillion RMB, which is a huge number. 5% of increase is certainly not easy. Our incremental GDP is equivalent to a middle-sized country's total GDP a year. So it's a huge number. And another thing is that this 5% number means a lot to our people. For example, some economists actually had some calculations. On average, a 1 percentage point of GDP growth could create about 2.4 million jobs. So that's a lot of, that will affect a lot of people's life. These numbers, seems to be a little bit abstract, but it matters to the global economic growth. It matters to Chinese people's everyday life.
As an economist, how do you view the current state of the global economy? What challenges does it face, and what's China's role and contribution?
I think the global economy hasn't recovered completely from the recession caused by the pandemic, global pandemic. China is still play a very important role driving the global economic growth. So, as far as I know, I'm still very optimistic about China's economic growth. We certainly have, so don't take me wrong, we certainly have our own problems, our own challenges. It's just like all other countries, right? Every country has their own challenges. We certainly have our own challenges. It's not going to be easy. However, having said that, I'm quite optimistic about China's economic growth because we had some advantages that other countries do not have. First of all, we have a very strong leadership, right? We have a very effective government system. Second, we have a huge market. Demand is large, right? This market can allow us to do many things. We can, promote the business models, different business models. We can do our innovation and so on. And the third, we have a very complete and mature industrial and supply chains, which can certainly help these companies, especially manufacturing companies, to reduce their cost, to upgrade their technologies. And last but not least, we have very good, a large body of, well-trained labor force. So we have all these advantages that other countries may not have.
On that positive note, thank you so much, Professor Tian. Professor Tian just described a very positive outlook for the Chinese economy. Obviously, we will follow closely what will transpire for the year. That's all for this edition of Decoding China. See you soon.